Good evening and welcome to the Connecticut Department of Transportation's Public Information Meeting for project number 83269, rehabilitation of bridge number 03641, Naugatuck Avenue over Metro North Railroad in Milford. My name is Susan Morneau and I'm a project engineer with the Connecticut Department of Transportation. I would like to welcome everyone who's taken the time to tune in for tonight's presentation. We hope this will be informative and we are able to answer all your questions and concerns so that by the time we are done, you will have a better understanding of our project. Before I get into the presentation and introduce the project team, I would like to go over a few housekeeping items and explain tonight's format. Our presentation will last approximately 15 minutes, and once it's completed, we will host a live question and answer session. You will have three means of communicating with us during the live Q&A session. You can send an email, leave a voicemail, or if you are watching this on MS Teams, you can post your question in the chat field to the right of your screen. The project team will monitor the project email, phone, and chat periodically during the presentation and Q&A session. The questions asked by any of these methods will be posted to the MS Teams Q&A chat window. We will read all the questions out loud for the project team to answer. You can ask questions at any time during the presentation, but we will answer these questions during the live Q&A session. For those that are joining this presentation via Microsoft Teams, there is the option to view captions or subtitles. To turn on this feature, select the CC button at the bottom right corner of your screen. This turns on the captioning. Next, to choose the language, go to the settings wheel next to the CC button, select Captions/Subtitles, and then pick the desired language. Available languages are English and Spanish. As I mentioned, the three means of communicating with the project team will be by email, which is dotproject83-269@ct.gov, or by telephone 860-944-1111. If you joined us using MS Teams Live, you can also use the chat function, which I will explain on the next slide. A recording of tonight's entire presentation, including the Q&A session, will be stored on the project webpage. The webpage can be found at portal.ct.gov/DOT-MILFORD83-269. Lastly, please remember that you can ask questions or provide comments through June 9, 2021 via either email or telephone. The MS Team chat function is only available during tonight's live Q&A session. For those of you joining us through the MS Teams Live event, there is a chat function available that allows you to ask questions and communicate with us. In this format, you can ask a question by clicking on the little question mark, which is Show Q&A. This will bring up your live event Q&A field. This is shown in the picture on the right of the slide. Select the Ask a Question button at the bottom of the screen and a field will pop up where you can type your question and then either hit Enter or the little arrow button to send. You can also check the box at the bottom to post your question anonymously if you prefer. There will be a slight delay, but eventually your question will appear in the Featured section with all other questions asked tonight. Please remember that the MS Teams chat function is only available during the live Q&A session. Thank you for bearing with me while I went over the ground rules. I would now like to begin the presentation by introducing the project team. With the Connecticut Department of Transportation, we have Bart Sweeney, the Division Chief of Bridges. His photo is in the top left of your screen. To the right of him is Louis Baccio, CE Bridge Project Manager. My photo is next, and again, my name is Susan Morneau, and I am the CE Bridge Project Engineer. In the top right of your screen is Matt Janikopoulos, the Right-of-Way Coordinator from the Office of Rights-of-Way. BL Companies is the consultant liaison engineer on this project and will work with the department to administer the project. The photo in the lower left is Jennifer Usher. Jennifer is the project manager for BL. To the right of Jennifer is Greg Garish, the project engineer from BL. You will hear from Greg later this evening as he explains the proposed project. The next photo is Mike Woods, also from BL Companies, and he will be the MC for the Q&A session of tonight's presentation. The designer for the project is Prime AE Group. The lower right photo is Brian Chamberlain, who is the project manager for Prime. We would like you to know that no person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project and that there's a civil rights flyer available. We would also greatly appreciate it if you could fill out the voluntary post-meeting survey the department has through SurveyMonkey. The results of this survey will help us improve these public meetings going forward. The links to both the civil rights flyer and the survey are located on the previously mentioned project webpage. A recording of the formal presentation will be posted to YouTube after the live event. Closed captioning, including non-English translation options, will be available at that time. Here is a map showing the project location. The arrow is pointing to bridge number 03641, which is located approximately 1,770 feet north of the intersection of US Route 1 and Naugatuck Avenue. Here's an aerial photo of the project location with the bridge shown in red. You can see that I-95 is located south of Metro North Railroad in this location. During the course of this presentation, you may hear us use terms that aren't necessarily familiar to you. We thought it would be helpful to introduce you to a few. The substructure is part of the bridge that supports the superstructure and the deck. Shown in red in this sketch is an abutment, which is one type of substructure element. A pier is another type of substructure element and is shown in orange. The superstructure is next and connects one substructure element to another and supports the deck. It is shown here in blue. The deck is shown in green and is the wearing surface of the bridge. In darker green are the parapets. Parapets on bridges and other highway structures are safety features that prevent users from falling off when there is a drop. This slide shows a photo of the structure at track level. The existing structure is a 99-foot-long, 2-span steel superstructure on stone masonry abutments and a stone masonry pier, constructed in 1929 and rehabilitated in 1992. The average daily traffic, or ADT, along Naugatuck Avenue is approximately 3,500 vehicles. This is based on the 2015 CT-DOT traffic log. Traffic on the tracks consists of 19 daily trains during the week and 18 daily on the weekend. This slide shows a closer look of the structure at track level. As mentioned before, this is a 99-foot-long, 2-span structure. The first span is 67 foot 10 inches long and crosses over 4 Metro North rail lines. It is comprised of 2 steel girders with a floor beam system that supports concrete deck panels. The second span is 26 feet 5 inches long and crosses over the adjacent access road. It is comprised of multiple steel stringers that support concrete deck panels. There is one sidewalk on the east fascia of the bridge. The curb-to-curb roadway width of Naugatuck Avenue in this location is 23 feet. This slide shows 2 photos of the underside of the bridge. The photo on the left is of span 1 and the photo on the right is of span 2. This slide shows 2 photos of the bridge along Naugatuck Avenue. As you can see, the bridge carries 1 lane of traffic in each direction and there is a sidewalk on one side. The photo on the left is of the south approach and the photo on the right is of the north. Naugatuck Avenue has a posted speed limit of 25 miles per hour. The purpose of this project is to address the safety concerns and structural deterioration. The steel superstructure is in poor condition and needs to be repaired in order to extend the service life of this bridge. There are 2 photos on the right of this slide that show some of the areas of rust and section loss. Every bridge is evaluated to determine its ability to carry load. This analysis is called a load rating and considers several different types of vehicles which are predetermined by Connecticut and federal agencies. Our bridge, bridge number 03641, has a substandard load rating which indicates a need for bridge strengthening. I will now turn over the presentation to Greg Garish from BL Companies, who will explain the proposed project to rehabilitate this bridge.
Thanks, Sue. My name is Greg Garish, and I'm a project engineer with BL Companies, the consultant liaison engineering firm administering the project on the behalf of the Connecticut Department of Transportation, and I'll be discussing the proposed bridge rehabilitation. In this plan view, we are looking at the project location from above. This slide is oriented with north to the right of the figure. You can see Naugatuck Avenue and our bridge, bridge number 03641. You can see the existing pavement that won't be disturbed shaded in gray. Shown in orange is the part of our structure that will be rehabilitated. The yellow shaded area will be repaved. The proposed rehabilitation will replace the existing bridge surface or bridge deck with a new concrete deck at span 1, which is the section of the bridge that crosses over the railroad tracks. We will also replace the span 1 concrete parapets and repave the bridge surface and approaches. Span 1 steel beams will be evaluated by the design team to be repaired and replaced as needed. The superstructure beams will also be repainted. Additional traffic protection measures will also be installed, including metal beam guide rail and precast concrete barrier curb. The cross-section view, or typical section, shows the bridge as if it were sliced like a piece of cake through the middle of each span. On the left, we see span 1. The new concrete deck installation will strengthen this part of the structure to improve the load carrying capacity. On the right, the existing span 2 superstructure is in good condition and the beam configuration provides sufficient load carrying capacity, so it does not need to be rehabilitated. As part of the rehabilitation, we will make minor repairs to the existing stone masonry substructure. Shown in purple, we can see the existing sidewalk and protective fence that will be replaced as part of the project. During construction, utilities supported by the bridge will be supported and protected in place. In order to perform this work, traffic will be temporarily detoured around the project site via Naugatuck Avenue, US Route 1, and West Avenue. This is the posted truck route based on local road restrictions. However, local traffic will have the opportunity to use alternate routes. The proposed detour is anticipated to last 4 months. Utilities supported by the bridge will be supported and protected in place during construction. Aerial utilities in the bridge vicinity will be relocated for the proposed work. The majority of the bridge rehabilitation work will be performed from the bridge surface and roadway. Minor repairs below the bridge will be coordinated with the railroad and will require night work during track outages. Environmental permits and impacts to rights-of-way are not anticipated for this project. I'll now pass it off to Susan Morneau with the Department of Transportation to discuss the project cost and schedule.
Thanks, Greg. This is Susan Morneau again, and this next slide shows our estimated project cost and schedule. I would just like to let everyone know that we are currently a little less than 30% complete in the design process. We are estimating a construction cost of approximately $2.6 million, which will be paid for with 100% state funds. No funding will be required from the town. At this time, we are anticipating construction to begin in the spring of 2024 and be complete in the fall of that same year. Please note that the schedule is preliminary and is predicated upon the availability of funding. At this point, I will turn things over to Mike Woods of BL Companies. He will be the MC for the question and answer session.
Thank you, Susan. We actually have a slight change this evening. My name is Jennifer Usher, and I will be emceeing tonight's question and answer session in lieu of Mike Woods. Mike is just getting over a bit of a cold. However, he is with us this evening and is available to answer your questions. So I'd like to thank everyone for attending tonight's virtual presentation. As mentioned earlier, we are just in the preliminary design phase of this project. And really, our goal this evening is to make sure that any questions, comments, or concerns that you may have are heard and considered. Just as a reminder, during the question and answer session, questions will be posted to the Q&A chat field of the presentation, and we have a moderator that will post these questions to the MS Teams Q&A chat. These questions can actually be viewed on your screen just by clicking the featured tab you see there, and that will enter you into the live event chat as shown in the image in the middle of your screen. So we will look at taking questions that you may have or answer any concerns. Please use any of the 3 options that have been presented and that you see there. So let's see, you have the option of utilizing email, and you can send an email to the address using DOTPROJECT83-269@ct.gov. You can also leave a voicemail using the phone number 860-944-1111. If you leave a voicemail, that will be actually put into the chat box and answered appropriately. Additionally, the last option is again just using the MS Teams live event chat and typing your question in there. We also have a project webpage that is available for additional information and can later be used to see this presentation. And I'll just read that off, which is https://TOR tal.ct.gov/DOT-MILFORD/83-269. And let's see, it looks like we've got a couple questions coming in, so let's start with those. Thank you for your time. We have an email from Steve W. Asking if the contractor will be working during nighttime hours. Let's see if we have someone who can answer that question. Perhaps Greg can take it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. I'm Greg with BL. Night work is required to perform repairs under the bridge and will be coordinated with the railroad to be done during track outages. And that'll most likely be between the hours of 12 a.m. and 5 a.m.
Thank you, Greg. Hopefully that answers Steve's questions. We have another question coming in. This is via phone from an anonymous person asking, is there going to be room for bicyclists/pedestrians during the construction phase? And let's see, who wants to take that question? I will turn that back over to Greg.
Thanks, Jennifer. The bridge will be closed to pedestrians and bicyclists during construction, and that is for safety, and it will also provide an expedited construction schedule. We'll get done a little earlier without that. So
Thank you very much, Greg. Let's see. So again, we have a couple different options that you can utilize to post a question or a concern, and up on your screen there you see via email, phone, or utilizing MS Teams chat. Again, if you are utilizing YouTube, you don't have access to the chat, but you can certainly contact us using the phone or email. So please do so by all means. And let's see what else we might have for some more questions coming in. As we're waiting, I'll just make mention that the comment period is open through June 9th, 2021. To just note that the MS Teams chat function is really only available during this live Q&A session. Any comments that you would like to, or questions that you would like to post after this live session, you'll need to do so through either email or phone using that information on your screen. So let's see, what else do we have for maybe some more questions coming in? We'll just give it a minute or so. I think we just had a question about when construction is anticipated to start and how long will the detour be in place. That came in through email, it looks like. And Greg, could I actually hand that over to you if you don't mind?
absolutely.
Thank
Construction,
you.
no problem. Construction is anticipated to begin in the spring of 2024 and be complete in the fall of 2024.
Thank you, Greg. Much appreciated. Let's see, we got a phone message. Again, this is from an anonymous viewer, and it said, oh no, I apologize. I actually read that one already. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, we actually have a question, another question about the detour. And I am going to hand this back over to Greg, the project engineer for this project with BL Companies. And Greg or Quinn, if you would be able to actually bring up perhaps the detour slide. So the question is just really, where is the detour? And hopefully maybe we can show that to this person. Perfect, there we go. So there's the slide with the detour plan, and perhaps Greg, you could walk us through it.
All right, so I think I did miss at the end of that last one that the detour will be in place for an anticipated 4 months. So,
thank you.
The detour, as you can see here, is Naugatuck Avenue. All right, so it's the posted detour route will be south of the bridge. You'll take Naugatuck Avenue to US Route 1, and to the north of the bridge, Naugatuck Avenue, you take to West Avenue, and that'll take you all the way to US Route 1. Keep in mind that there is a shorter route for passenger vehicles where you can take Subway as well as Schoolhouse Road, and all traffic will still be able to access I-95 via Subway.
And Greg, I just wanted to add one thing to that too. The reason that we're posting the longer detour is this is the to accommodate truck traffic. There are restrictions on some of these roadways that prohibits certain vehicles from utilizing them. So that's why, as Greg mentioned, there's a shorter route for the typical passenger vehicles, but that won't be the posted route. The one that we have here will be the posted route, and will be utilized can be utilized by all vehicles, and that's why we have to post it that way.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. That's a good point. And I just kind of want to reiterate a little bit, or just add to that. We did opt to do a little bit of a detour here, and I know that does, have some impact to the traveling public. But the idea is that if we could do that, we would essentially save on the overall construction duration. So we expected that would be a much better solution. And let's see. So just waiting on some more questions. See what we have coming in.
Jennifer, I'm just going to jump in quick too. I'm sorry, I meant to add to Greg's response on the first question that we asked about will there be night work. To also clarify, there are noise restrictions that will be put in place for the contractor. So despite there being, like Greg said, the midnight to 5 a.m., there are decibel levels that the contractor cannot exceed during his construction activities, and those will certainly be in place for that night work.
That's a very good point. Thank you, Mike. Much appreciated. And it looks like we have another question that just came in from a resident asking if the adjacent driveways will be affected. So let's see, who can take that? Actually, you know what? I can take that one. That's actually fairly easy. So again, just to say, my name is Jennifer Usher, and I am with BL Companies, and we are the liaison engineer for this project, working on behalf of the Connecticut Department of Transportation. So in response to that question about the adjacent driveways will be affected, we understand the importance of maintaining access to those driveways at all times. So we do anticipate that during all the construction activities, access will be maintained. So please rest assured on that. If you have any other questions, please post them back in the chat or utilize email or phone. See what other questions we have coming in. Just want to make a reminder here that we do have a project webpage that will be available, was available before, but will also be available after this presentation that you see up there. So again, that's https://portal.ct.gov/DOT Milford 83-269. For those of you who might be wondering, the number 83-269 is the state project number, which is how we refer to it when discussing it. So if you're wondering what that number is, that is the answer. And we'll see what other questions come in. All right. Again, you can contact us through email, phone, or chat. Oh, looks like we got a couple more questions that just came in. Fantastic. Let's see. We got a question through email asking us if we met with the city to discuss the project. Let's see. Who wants to take that question? Greg?
Sure.
Thank you.
We did meet with the city to discuss the project prior to this meeting, and we'll continue to coordinate with the city throughout design and construction.
Thank you, Greg. And I'll just add to that a little bit. It's important to us that we, meet with the city and kind of and keep them updated continually throughout the project. So just to expand a little bit more on that, as we mentioned, we're kind of in the preliminary design phases, but we do plan to continue to communicate with the city, and we'll be providing them with a 30% design, a 60% design, and 90% so that they have the opportunity to review, make comments. We certainly want to work hand in hand with the community and the city to develop this project to make sure that we are, basically addressing folks' concerns and answering any questions that may come up. And let's see, looks like we just got an email from Thomas, and he is asking if the bridge is safe to drive on. And so let's see, Lou, would you mind answering that question from the department?
Sure, Jennifer, thank you. Yes, I'm Louis Bacho, project manager with DOT. And I know some of those photos we showed earlier looked a little bad as far as the condition of the bridge, but that was only localized locations throughout the bridge. And the department does inspect the bridge every 2 years. I just want to ensure everybody the bridge is still safe to drive on. As I said, we continue to monitor. If the bridge does become worse, we increase our inspection cycle. We may make it a yearly inspection cycle, so we're on top of things. And it could go down to like a 6-month or a 3-month. So we're nowhere near that right now. So again, I just want to assure the public the bridge is still safe to drive on, even though some of those pictures, didn't appear to be, but it is safe. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Lou. Much appreciated again. Let's see if we have any more questions coming in. See, we have a few attendees out there. I do want to make mention that we do have a chat that we will be putting up afterwards. If you have a few minutes to take it, that would be much appreciated. We will actually show a link to that chat. And if you give me a second, I think I can provide that information. So it's through a service called SurveyMonkey. Again, it's just a voluntary post-meeting survey, but it can be found at www.surveymonkey.com/r lowercase /uppercase R3 uppercase R uppercase P as in Paul, uppercase X, uppercase W, and uppercase S. So again, that is www.surveymonkey.com/r/R3RPXWS. And we will also post that in the meeting chat as well for everyone to see. It would be a big help if you wouldn't mind just taking a few minutes to fill that out. Thank you. So let's see, a couple more questions have come in. We have a question via email asking if this project will impact rail service. I am actually going to turn that over to Quinn Duffy of BL Companies, who is heading up all of the utility and railroad coordination. Quinn, you mind taking that?
Of course. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. As Jennifer said, my name is Quinn Duffy. I am the utility and rail coordinator with BL Companies, helping administer this project. And I appreciate the question. That's a very good question. So there will be track outages required to facilitate construction. Since the construction will involve work on the underside of the deck, we will need track outages to be able to perform that work safely. We have been and will continue to coordinate with the railroad to develop a schedule and complete these repairs. The track outages will occur during off-peak hours and are not anticipated to impact train service or the traveling public. Hope that answers your question. I'll pass it back to you, Jennifer.
Oh, thank you, Quinn. All right, let's see. We had one more question come in while Quinn was answering that last question, just asking about the paving limits. Greg, it looks like you are sharing your screen, so perhaps you could actually go to the slide that shows those limits and maybe talk a little bit to them. And here are the pictures of our project and the approaches.
All right. So here's a plan view. The paving limits are shown here in yellow, so they extend just beyond either end of the bridge.
And maybe you can just, can you point to those perhaps with your a pointer just to show? So that yellow area, I think, is what Greg's referring to. So that is the paving limits there. So this particular section of the bridge and the roadway is where we would be detouring traffic off of. But again, as just a reminder, we will be providing access to all the driveways on either side during the 4 months of construction that we're anticipating. So.
And I should add that this orange section here will also be paved, so the complete bridge surface and just beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Let's see if we have any other questions. Just give it a minute or two. Again, thank you very much, everyone. We appreciate you joining us tonight. I know everyone's got busy schedules, but it is important that we hear anyone's concerns and give us an opportunity to answer any questions you might have. If you do have any questions, perhaps after this presentation that you think of later on, you are more than welcome to leave us a voicemail using the phone, as well as contacting us via email. We will be more than glad to return your call if you give us your contact information and/or email address. That will be up for a period of approximately 2 weeks, and then everything will be taken down. So please, by all means, use any of those means of communication to get in touch with us. And one other thing, just make mention again. So again, there is a voluntary post-meeting survey that can be found at www.surveymonkey.com/r/all uppercase R3RPXWS. And if you can just take a few minutes to fill that out, that would be a great help to us as we move forward, trying to make our way through kind of this virtual world that we're all in right now. Gives us some good feedback of what worked and what we could certainly improve on. So thank you very much. And there's our splash screen up there. So again, you can reach us by email using DOTPROJECT83-269@ct.gov. You can also reach us by phone at 860-944-1111. Just leave a voicemail. We will actually put that into the comment box, and then we will answer your question live. And finally, you can also reach us tonight only by using MS Teams live chat, which is the box over to the right. So thank you very much. Oh, it does. Oh, no, we got that. We did answer the question about the detour. So sorry, just missed that one. All right. Well, it looks like we may not have any more questions coming in. So I think with that, maybe we can just move on to our closing slide, if you wouldn't mind, Greg. Very good. Okay. Thank you. So again, we appreciate everyone making time to attend tonight's presentation. Thank you very much. As we indicated previously, we really are just in the preliminary design phase of this project, but we do want to engage the public and make sure that we've given everyone an opportunity to ask any questions, provide any comments and or concerns that they have, so that we have an opportunity to consider them, of course, incorporated into the design as we can. So again, this will end tonight's presentation. However, if you do have any questions or comments, you can certainly still reach us for the next couple weeks utilizing the project email or the phone. So I'll just say it once more. The project email is DOTPROJECT83-269@ct.gov. This is probably our preferred way of communication because we can respond directly back to you. However, you also have the option of using the phone and leaving a voicemail by dialing 860-944-1111. Please leave us your name and return phone number so that we can contact you and respond appropriately. And finally, we do have a project webpage with the information that you've seen here tonight, which can be found at https://portal.ct.gov/DOT Milford 83-269. And once again, we're putting a link to the survey, post-meeting survey. And if you can take a few minutes to fill that out, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to moving forward with this project. Take care.